Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News. The news is live on Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra. In Kumasi, we are live on Love 99.5 FM and over 30 affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions. We are on Clenham Radio in Bato, Gaskia FM in Techiman, A1 Radio and Dreams FM in Bolgatanga. You can go digital on Spotify and myjoyonline.com app, also live on Facebook. In this edition, water and electricity consumers say the tariff increases proposed by the utility companies is too high and want a significant reduction. We'll take you live to the University of Ghana, where the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission is holding a public forum as part of the tariff review process. Also this afternoon, government vows to enhance security to forestall a spillover of violent extremism into Ghana as it urges citizens to be vigilant and report any suspicious characters.
Everybody knows everybody. And so the very moment you come there, at least people will begin to know there is a stranger in town. This is the time we have to come together as Ghanaians to protect our land.
Also in sports.
Verdict at last as Ashanti Gold and Inter-Allies are demoted to Division 2 of Ghana Football by the Additional Committee of the Ghana Football Association. We have details shortly.
And later on, the National Science and Maths Quiz. We ask whether Kumasi High School can fight off opposition from Ofuasi SHS and Osei SHTS to slide into the 2022 National Championship. We are live on the KNUST campus, where the Ashanti Regional Qualifiers just kick-started.
You know, we have already met them before and we have eliminated us before. We are coming like wounded lions.
We have that coming up later and later in showbiz. We are told the locals of Jamestown screaming after international rapper Kendrick Lamar joins them for a football game at Manchagbona. That and more here on the Midday News with me, Emefa Apawu. Please stay for details. Many thanks for choosing us. We are your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. Now, consumers of water and electricity are asking the utility companies to significantly drop their demands for upward adjustments in price of water and electricity. The PRC is engaging the public for the first time as part of the process to review tariffs. We've already heard from the water and electricity company and their demand for an increment in terms of their tariffs. Utility providers say their businesses are on the line and only an increase in tariffs will keep them to remain in business. Justice Baidu is at the University of Ghana where this forum is happening and joins us on the line. Justice, tell us what the utility companies have been telling their consumers.
So, Emefa, the utility companies, as I speak to you now, the VRA and Gridco have just completed making their case for an upward adjustment, and their whole point has been that they are saddled with debt, and the point at where they are charging now is really unsustainable to keep them working, and especially for a company like ECG, they did say that it is impossible to be able to keep power on at the prices that they are charging for their services now, and so it is really a critical point for them that the PRC agrees to their request for the tariffs to be adjusted upwards. Emefa.
Okay, well, we know that by 1st of July or so, there will be an announcement for that. But at this public forum, the public is getting the opportunity to also make a point in terms of why there should not be an upward adjustment. What exactly have they been saying?
Emefa, the mood among people who have come here to the University of Ghana is one of anger. For many who have spoken already, they have catalogued the issues of the recent hikes in prices of almost every other thing on the market and gone on to make a case that this is the worst time possible for the utility companies to be asking for more money. Many people have also said that the utility companies haven't shown enough in terms of their productivity, in terms of keeping power on, in terms of making sure that the taps are running, and then on based on which they could go ahead and ask for more money. And so for many of the people who have spoken already, and already there's been the Q&A session for the presentation that has been made by Greco and the VRA, and many people are basically saying that they need to bring down the prices that they are asking for, or shelve it until later.
We can hear from some of them.
As time goes on, you need to increase your prices so that at least it will help you with the services you're already rendering. But rather unfortunate, the services ECG and other institutions are offering us is not helping us much, because it seems they keep on increasing their prices, but we keep on experiencing poor performance. Sometimes the lights keep on going up unexpectedly. They don't announce, they don't inform you about anything. The only thing they will say is they are sorry, they apologize. But at the end of the day, maybe you have lost, or you have damaged your machines, or the tools that you're using to do your info business. So if they want to increase, yes, but they shouldn't be too much whereby it will affect the masses, because a lot of people are finding it difficult even to pay the one that we are paying now. So what I would say is they have to look at those who don't have meters, and then give them meters whereby they will pay exactly what they consumed. So that it will look like maybe people are using power, they are using water, but they don't pay.
Well, your interaction there with a member of the public at that forum there. But Justice, just before I let you off, the independent arbiter in all this is the PURC. They've heard the utility companies and the members of the public. Have they said what their verdict actually is on this?
However, the PRC insists that what they are going through is the normal process that they have always gone through to arrive at new utility tariffs. And for them, as you say, they remain an independent arbiter, and they do hope that the contributions that are going to be coming through, with this being the very first forum that they are organizing until January 1st, when they come up with what would be the new tariffs, they insist that they are going to ensure that all the processes are followed, and they hope that they get as much participation as possible from across the country to ensure that whatever is arrived at would be acceptable to both the consuming public and also to the utility providers.
Many thanks for your company. That's my colleague Justice Bedu there, reporting from the University of Ghana, where the PRC is currently organizing a public forum where we'll be hearing from the utility providers as well as members of the general public. Now, let me take you to Nkranza, and the family of a 28-year-old trader alleged to have suffered police brutality leading to his death says it will not relent in its pursuit for justice for their relative. Albert Akwesidonko, who is a footballer and digital television installer, is said to have been picked up from his Nkranza home by armed officers in an unregistered vehicle on an anti-armed robbery operation. Family spokesperson and uncle, Reverend Dr. Matthias Sarkodie, tells Joy News the police, he's actually accusing the police of attempting to conceal the truth. He's been speaking to a Heming Terrier of our security desk.
As a family, we have taken the matter up to Accra, to the High Court, for us to get justice for Albert. And we have written to the IGP, we have written to the Interior Ministry, then the President. So we think the judiciary plus the executive would come together to give justice to Albert.
Is it true that Akwesi was arrested at the armed robbery scene and he was involved in that act relative?
Deep in the night, around 2:30. The vehicle they brought over here was not a registered vehicle, and it wasn't an official vehicle of the police. The mother was even about to join them, and they took the vehicle away. Kwesi was not part of the armed robbers, so they had nothing to say rather to inform us to be moving up and down, at least to steal time in order to have another case to present to the regional commander.
That's a family spokesperson there. Well, let me bring in Ohiming Teria. He's in the area. He joins us live. Ohiming, really, tell us who this Albert Akwesi Donko is and why he will be a police target.
Yes, Emefa, this is a 28-year-old trader who deals in second-hand shoes and also sell ice water for a living. And according to members of the community, he actually was an armed robbery victim on 24th of April 2020. So after the incident, he actually discussed it with a colleague that this is what I saw and that a police officer was actually involved in the robbery incident. And the next day, at about 2 a.m., police officers came to his house at Kasejai and ransacked his house. His uncle believes that this is an innocent man and the family will do everything possible to seek justice for him.
We want to seek justice for Albert, and we want to use Albert's incident to put a halt to some of these incidents. When they picked him, they thought Albert was nobody. And I can say confidently that the MP from Kranza South is the father. The father died, he inherited the father. So they later got to know that they have touched a wrong person. So as a family, we want to seek justice for Albert and get these issues halted in the country in order to live peacefully. We don't know the next person they are targeting, so we have to use this one as an opportunity to redress the issue.
Well, I mean, we are learning that this particular situation is leading to a sort of tension in the area. How is the police dealing with the matter and what exactly have you witnessed?
For some time now, the IGP has sent a delegation led by the Bono East Regional Police Commander to meet with the family. But the youth believe they are not satisfied with the attempt by police, for instance, to conceal the truth. So they are planning to hit the streets tomorrow. I spoke to Nana Ejebafu Romeo, convener of the Nkranza Youth Association.
The people of Nkranza are very traumatized, mostly the youth. If you just look around, you can feel it. Currently, I am feeling it. I feel like it's Albert today, but tomorrow, who is next? It could be me. This is not Nkranza issue. This is a national issue. Please, men that we are paying with our taxes, those who are in uniform to protect us are now the people that are turning back to harm us. The youth are angry, but we are calming things down. If not, they will have been violent, there will have been chaos. But we don't want a situation or a scenario that we will lose another life. We don't want to lose any life. Albert is the only one that is going to die out of this. And it should be the end. The streets we will hit. We just want justice. We have to display our displeasure. Tomorrow, being Tuesday, the youth want to just display with placards. It's just a peaceful one. It's a march. And we will present a petition to the IGP. That petition will be presented to the police. The same way we will petition the president through our MCE. The same way we will petition our Nananom, talking about the traditional council and the Queen Mother. So that
Youth of Nkranza there interacting with my colleague Ohiming Teria of our security desk. Now let's talk about terror. We'll stay a while longer on issues related to security. The government says it is committing every available resource to forestall a spillover of violent extremism into Ghana. In April 2022 alone, about 48 terror attacks or terror-related incidents were recorded, resulting in the death of at least 323 people, leaving dozens injured in the sub-region. While the West African Center for Counter-Extremism is warning that with more than 53% of all ECOWAS states experience insurgencies, plus the pervasive spillover phenomenon in neighboring countries, Ghana's border regions are a key area of concern. Speaking on the probe last night, the Deputy Defense Minister, Kofi Menu-Amankwa, says the general public ought to complement government's efforts by staying vigilant and report suspicious characters.
In the month of April 2022, I am talking of just last month, there were about 48 terrorist attacks or terror-related incidents reported in the West African sub-region. As a result of these attacks, we had about 323 people being killed and then 193 being injured. And so if you have all these neighboring countries experiencing this heinous crime from these groupings, it is so easy for people to enter and go. They will come in anytime and do whatever they want to do. Prof mentioned the issue of the forward operating bases, the FOBs. Currently, government is constructing 15 of them across the northern borders of our country, because we have realized, or intelligence have shown, that most of these activities is coming from the Sahelian regions. I am aware that government is spending a lot of resources into acquiring all whatever we will need to really resource our security agencies. The intelligence agencies are being resourced, the armed forces being resourced, the police, immigration. It is a collective. For instance, if you go to my village, everybody knows everybody. And so the very moment you come there, at least people will begin to know there is a stranger in town, and then they will begin to monitor your activities. This is the time we have to come together as Ghanaians to protect our land.
As the Deputy Defense Minister Kofi Manu Amankwa, now Dean of the Ghana Armed Forces Command and Staff College, Dr. Vladimir Nchidanso says a lot more needs to be done to educate Ghanaians and create more awareness on what needs to be done to ensure public safety.
But it's not just merely mentioning that we should shine our eyes. There must be a conscious effort in making the people aware that we should shine our eyes in the first place. Again, our security agencies should not actually work in silos. Intelligence is the biggest weapon against terrorism because they are always one step ahead of whatever you have. Look at the Nigerian army of close to about 200,000, and they cannot defeat Boko Haram of 3,500. It's because intelligence is not working properly, and the corruption and other issues within the society are not making it possible for Boko Haram to be routed. So over here, if we want to shine our eyes, people must be made aware of terrorism, what I call mainstreaming terrorism.
That's Dr. Vladimir Nchidanso, is the Dean of the Ghana Armed Forces Command and Staff College. Meanwhile, security analyst Adib Sani is asking that we get more vigilant at the shopping malls as well. Thankfully, he joins us on the line. We are grateful for your time, Mr. Sani. So apart from the warnings that has been given to churches to step up the vigilance and security, you want us to watch the shopping malls as well, I suppose, because of what we witnessed in Kenya in 2013. But what really will be the interventions you would require that we put in place at the shopping malls?
All right, so not only in Kenya, according to the RAND Corporation, between 1998 and 2013, there were about 60 terrorist attacks in 21 countries at shopping malls all around the country, and now it has become much more sophisticated. In as much as we're concerned about the religious places of worship, we should take a look at the malls because they are soft targets. And any place where people gather en masse is a potential target. So we need to look at the malls, we need to look at the hospitals, we need to look at the schools. But it's unfortunate that in Ghana, people go into the malls, do all their shopping, and come out without any form of security check. So what I am saying is for the government to give a directive to management of all the shopping malls, including the major, shopping chains, to introduce at least metal detector checks. So before you go in, you are at least subjected to a screening of some sort. The only places you see that happening is the big hotels. And I don't think it is good enough because they are potential targets.
In terms of resources, at least we've heard that the Gota boys, for instance, have been moved from the port to help in this extremist potential attacks. Really, do you think that we are resourced enough? Are we putting enough into this preventive measure?
It can never be enough. Galvanizing resources to prevent a terrorist attack is no mean work. That is why it is important to get the citizens to be part of the process so they complement the efforts of the government. And that is why I'm particularly excited that government has finally owned up to tell the whole of Ghana that indeed the threat is there. This is something that was hitherto kept under the wrap until civil society intervened, and now government has come out to agree that yes, indeed, we are not in normal times. Okay, government cannot do it alone. You and I have a responsibility. That is why education is key. when people see someone with a beard, then they are tempted to think that, hey, he's a terrorist. But terrorists don't look different. They look like us. Richard Reed, who attempted bombing a U.S. airliner with a bomb hidden in his shoe, is a Western white, person. How could you have known that? All right, so with education, people would learn to know that when you see a bag unattended to at the mall, you need to draw the attention of the authorities. When you see someone acting in a suspicious manner, like taking pictures, hiddenly, secretly, then you have every reason to be worried. If you see new people in town, they are in your community, they live in a secluded fashion with high walls, nobody can access their building, they only work at night, they behave in a manner that is not consistent with the way your community is, you have every reason to, let the authorities know. Okay, so I think education is key. So you and I would also contribute, at least by even investing in security, which I must say is key.
We are grateful for your time. That's our security analyst, Adib Sani. This is the Midday News. We're live on Joy 99.7 FM, also on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi and over 30 affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions. We're live on your myjoyonline.com app, Spotify, and also on Facebook. Water and electricity consumers say the tariff increases proposed by the utility companies too high and want a significant reduction. We've been hearing from some of them at the ongoing public forum here in Accra, being organized by the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission. When we return, we have sports, and then later. And can Kumasi High School fight off opposition from Ofuasi SHS and Osei Tree SHTS to slide into the 2022 National Championship? We're live on the KNUST campus where the Ashanti Regional Qualifiers started.
We have eliminated us before. We are coming like wounded lions.
Lions don't talk to sheep. So quiz for now there. Down flat.
Down flat.
Also later, locals of Jamestown will hear them screaming after international rapper Kendrick Lamar joins them for a football game at Manchagbona.
I got loyalty, got royalty inside my DNA. I got realness, I just kill shit cause it's in my DNA. I got millions, I got riches building in my DNA.
Estate is the safest investment. At Edlum, we say it is very yielding in terms of recouping one's investment with an anticipated 10% return on value per annum. Edlum Avant-Garde, situated in Adringano along the Tema Accra motorway with 1, 2 and 3 bedroom apartments with 2 penthouses on the 6th floor. Aside its generosity regarding space, it will also boast of all the amenities that come with urban living, like a restaurant, gym, swimming pool and lounge on the 10th floor, 2-level basement parking in a commercial area. It will be sleek, it will be modern, and it will be luxurious, but also very reasonably priced, with off-plan price at 11,000 Ghana cedis per square meter, starting our studio apartment at 450,000 Ghana cedis. Owners who will not want to live in but rent to recoup their investment or defray their mortgages can be rest assured. Call Edlum Avant-Garde on 0270-322-322 or visit edlumavantgarde.com. Edlum, where quality and spacious homes cost less.
Thanks for staying with us here on the Midday News. It's time for sports, and this afternoon the Disciplinary Committee of the Ghana Football Association has handed down heavy sanctions for Premier League club Ashanti Gold and others who it said participated in an alleged match fixing last season. So the club has been demoted not just to Division 1 but to Division 2. There are other sanctions as well. Muftau Nabila, Joy Sports, is here with us with the details of the committee's report released this morning. So Muftau, walk us through the details about how the game was actually fixed. Let's talk about it first. first.
How the game was fixed, the Ghana Football Association, it began through the president of Ashanti Gold, East President Dr. Kweku Frimpong, got in touch with someone they say works with the Inter-Allies. He's called Ni Amoa, and he exchanged telephone calls with him and offered to pay him 10,000 Ghana cedis so that they could fix the game to a perfect score of 5-1. And following investigations, Dr. Kweku Frimpong denied knowing Ni Amoa. His son, who is also the chief executive officer, Emmanuel Frimpong, also claimed that he doesn't know Ni Amoa. But following investigations, the Ghana Football Association realized that they paid him 10,000 Ghana cedis via a mobile money merchant by name Isaac Quest. And these were some of the details the GFA assembled before arriving at a decision to sanction the club.
So let's talk about the sanctions in full.
So the sanctions are that Ashanti Gold has been demoted to Division 2. The president of the club, Dr. Kweku Frimpong, has been banned for 10 years by the Ghana Football Association. He's also been fined 100,000 Ghana cedis. The club, Ashanti Gold itself, will also pay the GFA 100,000 Ghana cedis. That's a fine. Its CEO, Emmanuel Frimpong, has been banned for 8 years, and he will also pay 50,000 Ghana cedis as fine. For that of Inter-Allies, it's quite interesting because the GFA, in their ruling, they indicated that the gentleman Hasmin Musa, who actually exposed the alleged match fixing in days, was they decided to sanction him for 24 months, but the committee decided that they should sanction him for only 6 months because it was his action that exposed the match fixing. But player of Kumasi Asante Kotoko, Richmond Lamte, has been banned for 30 months by the Ghana Football Association because he was found to have given a phone number to someone to call so that they will place a bet because he had heard that the game was fixed.
But briefly though, has there been any reaction from the persons who are alleged to have taken part in this match fixing claim?
We've tried getting in touch with people, but no one has commented yet. As and when we have such details, we'll share with our followers.
Thank you very much. And details of that is on myjoyonline.com. Now, teachers and students of the Kejabi Asato Senior High School are lamenting the impact of the deterioration of their science laboratories for their poor showing at the National Science and Maths Quiz over the years, with a telling impact on the performance of its science students. Joy News OT regional correspondent Peter Senu has been to the school to interact with students and teachers.
The situation is no different at the physics and biology laboratories. Though the biology teacher indicated he has enough apparatus for practical work, he has to improvise for a practical session using his rice cooker as a water bath.
Anytime we want to do test for any food substance, we need the water bath, like I already said. So in place of the water bath, we are using the rice cooker. And what actually happens is that when we mix our reagents together, for example, if you want to test for the presence of starch, we actually need to get the type of water bath that can actually hold the test tubes in place. So what happens is that we improvise. I use the rice cooker, dip the rack inside, and then what I do is that we put the test tubes inside so that it can be properly held together in place.
The school in 2021 received some science equipment from EduScience UK through government, but cannot be mounted on the existing weak structures. The situation is denying student access to same as a chunk of the supplies remain in the original seals. Ebenezer Mileba is the head of the Science and Maths department in the school.
Actually, we were given a lot of materials in all the labs, physics, chemistry, and biology. But the materials are there, but the structures are not well in order. They are not in order to fit the materials in the lab. So the lab is in a dilapidated state. So we need a lot of changes. If you can do that before you can fix the materials, I think that would be better.
The situation of lack, the prefects of the school argue, is affecting the academic work as
Well, that's Joy News. So, regional correspondent Peter Seno there bringing us a part of the Joy News hotline documentary on dilapidated school. It takes us straight to NSMQ also, where Kumasi High School is a target of at least 2 wounded lions in Ofuasi SHS and Osei Tree SHTS in the Ashanti Regional qualifiers of the 2022 National Science and Maths Quiz. So, Kuis has successfully denied these schools a spot in the national championship in previous years, but haven't fallen to the Mrantier in the past. Both Ofuasi SHS and Okes say they are out to draw their pound of flesh. They've been speaking to my colleague Manuel Cranting.
74 schools just competing for 19 slots. Who is going to be dropped and who is going to get a ticket into the national competition? Will it be Osei Tree Senior High School? They call themselves Ahinema. Ahinema. They're going to meet Kumasi High School. Are you ready for that?
Yeah, we are ready. We are ever ready. They thought they can be like, no, we are ever ready. They should face us. We are going to do it today.
You know, we have already met them before and they have eliminated us before. This time we are fully prepared. We are coming like wounded lions.
Lions don't talk to sheep. So quiz for now, down flat.
Down flat. Lions don't do what?
Lions don't talk to sheep.
We want to win the contest and qualify to Accra. That's why. So you want to win a contest and then qualify for nationals. Great. But you're coming up against Cohese. And we know them. Yeah, we have prepared. That's why we have more confidence. Yeah, we have prepared. Go to I try to more trials. Yeah, and whatever. So we are very serious.
Thank you. I say that.
And that's Emmanuel Cranting with that report from Kumasi, ending today's edition of the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. Well, I'll leave you with that surprise visit from Kendrick Lamar at Manchagbona. But you can visit myjoyonline.com for more news. Full list of GFA sanctions slapped on Ashanti Gold for involvement in July 2021 match fixing. Also, groups in US and others offered me money to drop anti-LGBTQ plus bill. Sam George there saying, and this is an epidemic of injustice. MP demands justice for man who died in police custody. A story we've been talking about. That and more on myjoyonline.com. Living Word with Pastor Mensah Otabil is up next. I am Emefa. Apawu, many thanks for your company.
I got loyalty, got royalty inside my DNA.
Boy. More than dodgy.